And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell-Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester. With me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell-Blanken. And Tyler, we have a guest today.
Yes, we do. Making her return to GI, Wildcat Authority's own Erika Day. Erika, welcome back. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? I'm excited to be here.
Doing great, doing great.
So happy to hear that. We are so happy you're here. Erika, so much has gone on, not only in wrestling, in hoops, but in your life. The last time you made the first time you made your GI debut, it was late December. I think that episode dropped on December 27th, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
What's been going on in the world of Erika Day since then?
Well, early January, I started working with Wildcat Authority, which is it's a subscription message board essentially, but also they do free news as well. So I've been covering the women's basketball team, the U of A women's basketball team for them. It's been really exciting. I have learned a lot this year, for certain. I'm excited for next season. I'm ready for a fresh start as far as basketball goes. Like, I'm sure the team is too, after losing in the first round, but they're probably just as ready for a fresh start as I am. And it will probably be my first credentialed season. So I'm pretty excited about that. So
Awesome.
I can go wherever I want, and ask the questions that need to be asked. And as some people have reminded me, never to forget the little people. So I just got to make sure those questions get asked,
The little people is amazing.
Yeah.
Also feels like a shot at my height a little bit.
Oh,
You guys are like the same height, aren't you? Yeah.
It doesn't make us tall.
5'6".
Yeah.
Erika, well, we're going to ask you so many questions about your experience with Wildcat Authority, promoting your articles. Of course, we're talking March Madness, but you mentioned fresh starts. Brad, you had spring break. How was that for you? I know you cut down a tree, you made some pizza, you saw a movie, which we'll talk about. But what was spring break 2K24 like?
So there's an acronym. It's GAS. It's the general adaptation syndrome. There is the alarm phase, there is the resistance phase, and then there is the exhaustion phase. And the exhaustion phase is about where I lived all of that first weekend after the musical was over. I was just literal running on Friday before spring break, trying to get stuff set up. I ended up having to drive back home to get some equipment twice between 2 and 4 p.m. before the show started, just rocketing back and forth, trying to help a kid get her video up on the YouTubes so that she could submit a scholarship application while trying to get some stuff set up for sound, doing all of this stuff. And then it was set strike, and we took down the whole set, threw it away. I got home at about 11:15, which is early for that. And I just remember sitting on the couch, eating my sad dinner and thinking, tomorrow I don't have anything. Oh, tomorrow I have a haircut. And it was at 7:30. So I had to get up. Long story long here. I got home from the haircut 9:30, 10 o'clock, something like that. I took a nap I told you this in a text.
This sounds familiar.
Yeah. I took a nap. I took a nap
nice.
at 11:30. I woke up at 6:30 p.m. I got up, ate some dinner, lunch, breakfast, all of those things at the same time, and then went to bed at like 9:15, 9:30, and slept until about 9 the next day. It was just sleep. We recorded the pod. I'm pretty sure I took a nap after that before editing. And then Monday felt like death, just still so tired. I couldn't tell you what I did on Monday. Absolutely no idea. Probably played video games and then a bunch of nothing. And then Tuesday I did nothing. The rest of the week, man, was cleaning and doing yard work. We took everything out of the garage, put it into, this goes into a yard sale or this goes into the trash day, and then put it all back. And the next day it was pick up the backyard as much as I could. I was out there for probably 7-8 hours just in the sun. I know my neck is all sunburned. And then did it again the next day before making pizzas for 8 people. And we got a lot of wood in the backyard, man. Like, I don't know what we're going to do with all this lumber. It's just logs for days, logs and branches. And then yesterday we went to a movie. Today was a lot more homework, but yesterday was the first time that I have gone to a movie, just me and the fam. I couldn't even tell you how long. I don't know the last movie I went to where I actually went and sat in a movie theater. It's probably been a year. I can't imagine it's been any time more recent than that. But, you know, one of the things that I love about doing the show is that sometimes we get to talk about it. And I haven't been able to do this segment in forever. It's time for GI at the movies. So play the music.
And now it's time for GI at the movies.
All right. We went to the Roadhouse, Tyler. Erika, I know you probably, I don't know the last time you were at the Roadhouse, but
Never.
I love me some Roadhouse. I always get the popcorn glazed and confused, the caramel corn. Amazing.
Glazed and confused.
I
don't think I've been to Roadhouse either. You know,
Children of the Corn is their regular buttered popcorn, but I like it because you can get drinks, you can get food. I always get the Southwest nachos, which are not nachos. They're fries. They're just loaded waffle fries. Amazing. And then I get the popcorn. I ate most of it just sitting there, just like I'm enjoying this so much. And we went to see Ghostbusters Afterlife. I think that's the one it is. Or no, Frozen Empire. Afterlife was the one before that, Frozen Empire. Hard to keep track. I need numbers. I need Ghostbusters 3 and 4. I don't need this tagline bullshit. So we went to see the sequel to the most recent Ghostbusters movie with Paul Rudd and a whole bunch of other people. I love me some Phoebe in these movies. I thought she was great. It was also great having the old cast back and it taking place in New York at the old firehouse. This movie was fueled by nostalgia. Man, there were some great moments. There was a hint early on about complaining, spoiler alert, complaining about candy going missing in the house, and then they hear some noise in the attic, and there's just this pile of candy. It's Slimer. Great Slimer cameos. Tyler, I was 8 years old again. I was just beaming in this thing. I saw the Rotten Tomatoes reviews before going out. I saw the score, and I saw it, and I went, "Oh, this means I'm going to have a lot of fun tonight." Because when I saw 44% or whatever it was on there, I was like, "Man, I don't care." So I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna ask you the question. I went to Jurassic Park 3 with my buddy Mike Kleiman, way back whenever that came out. We went to the Willow Creek Cinema 8 in my hometown. It's probably still there. It's probably the only thing there. And I remember walking into it going, "This movie is gonna suck, right? Like, this is gonna be a terrible movie." And Jurassic Park 3 is a bad movie. And Mike looked at me and he goes, "You know what? It's probably going to be an awful movie. And you know what? Who cares? Dinosaurs." And that's kind of how I feel about this Ghostbusters. It can be a terrible Ghostbusters movie. We got Godzilla coming out this month, which looks bad. I'm still going to go see it. I'm still going to eat some popcorn because I don't care. I'm not there for high art. So my question is, do you have any like just critically panned, besides Fast and the Furious, critically
That's exactly
panned,
what I was thinking of.
Yeah, you can't use that. You can't go to that. Critically panned guilty pleasure movies, or movies you know are going to be bad, but you're going to go anyway. Erika, why don't you lead us off?
It's Fast 5. I don't know why he said Fast and Furious is not allowed.
Thank you, Erika.
That's the best movie in
the answer.
It's Fast 5. Fast 5.
Well, that one's not as critically panned though. I was looking at the
we'll
review.
go Fast 7 with the long airport tarmac. We'll go.
All of those are not too critically panned. X is the one that got like just torpedoed, and it sounds like rightfully so. Or Tokyo Drift.
The last two
Tokyo Drift was also critically panned, and a lot
Tokyo
of people
Drift
like that
was
now.
really good.
Actually, my least favorite of the series. Also, yeah.
Yeah, it's the reason I stopped watching them.
It's like, okay, you guys had
That
Han
was
die,
bad.
now you're gonna bring Han back. Like, are you serious? Like, that's kind of how I feel
Well, it
about
was
it.
like a prequel without being a prequel. It was very
I'm like,
confusing.
dude, how can it be a prequel of Han? He's a main character in this series, and you guys kill him in the movie.
May I just add, the main character has a cool Southern accent. I don't know the name of that actor, but he was solid. No. Okay.
The music in Tokyo Drift is very good.
The music
Very good.
Yeah.
is
If I ever need
probably
to
the
be
best
like
part.
a race car driver,
Yeah.
I throw on the Fast 3 soundtrack, and we
Yeah.
are in business.
Well, it's
I think
it's like the
the next
Godzilla
level.
90. It's the Godzilla 97 soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like I love that
Yes.
soundtrack. Jamiroquai's on there, and I love Jamiroquai growing up. But like, anyway, Tyler. Besides Fast and the Furious, what do you got? You have anything?
Gosh, man, that's tough. I would say, see, I'm even thinking of like the John Wick series. That's pretty critically acclaimed. Not only has it become, a big part of the culture, but it just has great scores and everyone loves it.
Yeah,
Fast is my initial and maybe my only answer here.
might
but
be. Yeah, it's hard to. It's
It
hard
might
to do.
be.
Are
Yeah,
you
I-
Star Wars fans?
Or the
Oh,
Rock's
yeah.
movies. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because actually, my opinion on Star Wars is rather unpopular as well, and it's that the final trio is the best trio.
I gotta
Like,
go.
Yeah, I
guys
figured
carry-
that would
Oh,
be.
It's been a great
I
episode.
also didn't watch them until I was 23 years old, though. And I watched them all at once.
I
matters.
I
When
legitimately
you
like
see
the
it, yeah.
original trio. I grew up with, so I love it. The new trio, I still really like it. I just hate the last one. I hate the last
I
one
don't
so
even
much.
remember what happens in the last one.
They bring back a villain that died, undoing everything that happened in Return of the Jedi for no reason. So, had they just simply had a different villain, because everybody got mad at the Last Jedi after they went, The Force Awakens, very predictable. It's A New Hope again, and it was like, yeah, it was a New Hope clone, and they fueled that movie on nostalgia, and people were mad about it for being too nostalgic and not new stories. So, The Last Jedi came out totally different, tons of surprises. I freaking love that movie because I didn't know what to expect and because I had no way of knowing where they were going to go with it. And everybody was like, it's so unpredictable and you ruined characters and all this stuff. It's like, they don't belong to you. Shut up. Shut up. And then-
Star Wars fans are the hardest people to please, is actually how I feel about it.
Oh my God. Dude. Okay. Here, this segment is over. Okay. But the discourse I have seen online this week, because the Acolyte trailer came out for Disney Plus, the new Star Wars property that takes place 100 years before the Skywalker saga. That trailer came out, and holy crap, is my feed just loaded with dorks talking about lightsaber colors and how, well, it can't be red. The Sith don't do that. If you see a red lightsaber, you die. That's how the rules are. And I was like, who cares? What is wrong with you people? They're worse than wrestling Twitter. Wrestling Twitter is a cesspool. This was worse.
Yeah.
At least you have athletes on wrestling Twitter.
Yeah.
Star Wars Twitter is not the athletic bunch of people. Like, I'm sorry. If you're doing a backflip, it's into an ambulance. The end. Getting on there like, what's yellow? Those are only used by the guards that are in the temple. Just get a job. Like, go outside, find some grass to touch. Even if it's weeds, leave your house. Find somebody that will love you for you.
Because Ray does not love you, sir.
Oh, Jesus, no.
She's busy.
No. I'm worried more that they're like Chewbacca fans. That's what I'm just worried a little bit.
R2D2 stands.
Oh, no.
R2D2 stands is
No.
wild.
Crazy.
Well, I don't know about you all, but I enjoyed that promo of the week. It was kind of a hybrid. It was GI at the movies and promo of the week.
Yeah, it did turn
combined.
into that, didn't it? Yeah.
My answer to you is probably every film that Dwayne The Rock Johnson has starred in, but namely Baywatch and Skyscraper. I think we're talking 2017, 2018.
There you go. That's actually good. That's
I really enjoyed both of those films, even if maybe many others did not.
Can't confirm. And check out last week's episode if you want to see us run down The Rock in his filmmaking.
So we have to talk wrestling, man. You know this is GI. It's kind of built into what we do. And we also have Erika back. So Erika, it's really one main topic this week as it pertains to wrestling. Mercedes Moné is in AEW. It's been 2 weeks, and we got to talk about her presentation. So thinking about, of course, the debut in Boston at TD Garden, big business. And then this past week, Mercedes comes back. She starts the show again, opens Dynamite with a promo. The presentation, the polarizing entrance music, which she raps on, her insertion into the TBS title picture, rekindling the feud with Willow Nightingale from New Japan. Erika, what do you think about Mercedes in AEW now that we're 2 weeks in?
I think she is going to. She already is the face of AEW, in my opinion. Tony Khan's made her, his intentions with her very clear. And I think starting the show with her 2 weeks in a row is kind of the way to keep that train rolling. I don't think he's wrong in that. I think the pop was a little lower this week because people are there who my dad said that there were some Canadians there that I'm blanking, that were like the main event of the night. Like they
Adam
literally did not
Adam
care
Copeland
about
and Christian
Mercedes.
Cage.
Yeah.
I Quit match.
They were
big deal.
waiting for the I Quit match.
Get Edge and
was-
Christian in the ring
it was on the
together in
poster.
Toronto.
Mhm.
And so I just feel like it was kind of like, it was almost a wash for her anyways. Like it was kind of a, we need you to go outside and do something so that we can wait until next week to do something more with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And kind of that's the vibe I got from it. And that's not a bad vibe. They got to keep her face on TV. They got to keep her paid. They got to keep her happy. Vince couldn't do that. So I hope Tony is able to do that so that we can continue to see Mercedes on TV. She's an phenomenal wrestler. So in order to continue to see her on TV, if AEW is the way I got to watch, then by all means, fine. You can count me in to watching AEW while Mercedes is on the TV anyways. Okay?
Well, before we kick it back to Brad, that it's so interesting you mentioned that, Erika, because I was just about to ask you, last time you were on late December, we were kind of discussing and predicting where Mercedes was going to end up. It was WWE, AEW.
No one go watch that. My prediction was wrong, so don't go watch.
It's okay. So I guess my question for you, which you may have just answered, and I really want to hear what Brad thinks. Does she means a lot to you, one of your favorite wrestlers, if not your number one. Does she move the needle enough for you that you will tune into AEW more regularly now that reportedly she inked a, say, 3-year deal?
I would say, yeah. And it also, I would have never watched an AEW pay-per-view before, ever. I probably would flip over to the channel they're on Wednesday, right? They're the old NXT day. So I'd flip over on a Wednesday because what else is on TV on a Wednesday?
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
But on a Saturday, that's tough, but now that Mercedes is there, it would definitely incentivize me to watch. I don't love that her initial feud is with someone that she's already feuded with before. I think she's got all this opportunity to do new things. And so I don't love that they're immediately putting her back into this box of dealing with an old feud that apparently could have injured her really profusely also. So I don't really love that. But I don't know anything about Willow. So it also gives me an opportunity to learn about new female wrestlers, and Willow could be great. You're
gonna love her. She is.
Yeah. And I thought, it was this week when Willow came out to try to save her because the lights kept turning off.
Yes.
And yeah.
She almost hit Mercedes with that chair. You saw that.
Yeah. And I'm like, girl, get real. You came out here to save her. Are you hitting her with the chair or not?
Yeah.
And that's so, I think that the storytelling could probably improve a little just in that sense because she is such a captivating person. She is such a captivating wrestler. Americans want to see her wrestle in America. So, in order to do that, got to keep her happy in AEW. So I hope that this feud is just kind of the catapult that puts her to new heights within AEW so she can, I'd love to see her feud with the dentist, Britt Baker, right?
Yeah, right. I think that's happening.
That has to happen.
Yes. I would immediately have tuned in for that. You know what I mean? But I think so. I do think that initially starting with this, like I know who Britt Baker is, so I'd have to imagine that most other wrestling fans know who Britt Baker is.
She was the
face.
She was the face of the division, arguably the company in the first few years.
No idea who Willow is though, and so I think that they kind of did themselves a little disservice there with that. But I think it's also a really good teaser. And like, if AEW fans, which like this is kind of a stupid sentence to say out loud, but if AEW fans just happen to not watch AEW, or maybe they don't keep up with worldwide wrestling at all, this is a really good intro for Sasha Mercedes. So I think that that's good for her, but at the same time, I'm ready for her to dig in with new talent. She's such a good wrestler. I think that this feud doesn't give her the opportunity to show, like, there's such a size difference. I want Sasha or Mercedes to feud with someone that is similar to her in build, so that we can really she can really showcase her wrestling capabilities, because they're really great. And I think that is probably the number one thing that's like most brushed by her, just because of all the drama that's kind of like surrounding her name. Everyone forgets at the end of the day, the woman is a damn good wrestler. And I want to see her do that.
She signed into Stardom to wrestle Joshi Talent over there and had some bangers. And then Willow was kind of on loan from AEW to New Japan, and that's where they met. So Mercedes Moné in New Japan / Stardom is a weird contract, because she won from Kairi Sane, she won the first ever New Japan Women's Championship.
Yeah.
And then dropped it to, I can't remember who she dropped it to. Do you remember, Tyler? Was it Julia? Or maybe it was somebody else. I can't remember.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then for the Strong Championship, she was either the champ or was slated to be the first ever champ for that particular belt. Wrestled Willow, and she just landed funny. And in the ring, she's like, I can't, like, her leg was effed. And in the ring, they called an audible, and Willow won the belt, because that's when she got injured. So her last match in New Japan was against Willow Nightingale, which is why that story happened. And it makes sense that those connections would happen, because Willow came in as champ in AEW. She came back and suddenly she had a title around her waist, and they had to show the video packages. And it makes sense that, just from an easy storytelling, is I never lost that belt, or I wouldn't have lost if I hadn't gotten injured. I want to have another match, because Willow's really good in the ring. And I think that match is going to be really fun to watch. But I'm with you. I'm ready to see her move on. And there's all these dream matches over in AEW that I want to see. I want to see her and Toni Storm cut it up. I want to see her, and I think Mariah May, she could do a really fun match with that. My dream match scenario here isn't any of these other people. It's Serena Deeb, because her and Serena Deeb will put on like probably a classic.
CEO versus the Professor.
Yes. Oh my God. Inject that right into my eyeballs.
I thought that was going to be the first feud, actually.
Yes. And I want to see that, but I'm with you. I much love to Mikey Ruckus. The CEO thing is not for me. It's
well, and
just
also I kind of get the vibe that this leads
over and over and over again.
Yeah. I'm kind of getting the vibe that this feud that she's in also is going to lead into some sort of tag team something, because it's a 2-on-2 situation.
Yeah.
And I don't want that. That is probably the bottom of the list of the things that I would like to see from Mercedes. Is I just don't think that it's good for anyone involved. She's such a good wrestler. She doesn't need, if you want to give her a manager, a mouthpiece, so that she doesn't have to talk as much, great. But I just don't think that it's suitable for her at this point. And at this point in her career, to put her in a tag team doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I think it's the only way that they can get in that amount of time. I know why they do it. They do it to get people on TV. So otherwise it would be her and Toni Storm and leave everybody else in the back, because they're probably their two biggest stars right now, outside of Britt, who's just off TV. But I have to imagine that she's injured, or something else is going on medically where she had to take time off. I have no idea where she is, but I would assume that's the case. Usually that's the case. Like, I'm hoping nothing comes out that it's like some other horrific thing has happened, or something terrible, life circumstantial. Because like CJ Perry being off TV because of her staph infection, and Miro being off TV, and then it turns out they actually split. And they've been going through a divorce, and it's like I didn't want that. I didn't want to see that kind of news. I was just hoping they had a bum hamstring or something. That's all I want. So I'm hoping Britt's okay, but she's been gone for a 6 months. I mean, maybe more.
Not too long after Jamie Hayter, I think, went out with injury, we didn't see Britt anymore.
And my only thought there is that maybe they thought, well, Jamie has nothing to do, or Britt doesn't have anything to do because the feud there is with Jamie, and with Jamie gone, we have nothing for Britt, which is an insane sentence to say.
That's
I have to think
hard to stomach.
I have to think there are bigger plans there because
Definitely.
holy crap.
Are you
Yeah.
guys saying that Britt Baker is the Kate Middleton of AEW?
She hasn't yet been replaced by AI, so we'll see.
Well,
We'll see.
Fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
Although they did replace Tony Storm with Mariah May with Tony's old gimmick, so we'll see what happens.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That's true.
Rebel's gonna come out dressed like Britt, doing the DMD thing. I think is what's gonna happen.
well, we love Britt Baker. We love Mercedes Moné. And something that the three of us love, and I think everyone living in Arizona, dare I say, is springtime. It's late March. It's about to be April. It's the perfect time to be an Arizonan. And we want to tell you about our great sponsor, Grand Patio. Grand Patio exists to ensure you're all set for the amazing weather and even more amazing memories that await this spring. For over 20 years, Grand Patio has partnered with renowned designers to create livable and luxurious collections that can transform your backyard into a personal oasis. Their products include umbrellas, recliners, gazebos, sectionals, and much more. Visit our affiliate link, grandpatio.sjv.io/capital G, capital I, capital P, lowercase OD, to spell out GI pod, to shop their collections today.
That is really important, it turns out.
It's crucial.
Yeah.
We're living that case-sensitive life.
Erica, capital GIP, lowercase OD. Yeah.
That's
Bad
what
way
we
to
got to do
find
to
out.
get our grand patio. It's what needs to be done. Check us out.
Get
Yeah,
your
it's
check
crazy.
and your grand patio.
That's right.
Absolute madness, right?
Absolute madness. I think that's a cue
Is-
for us, B.
Yeah.
Erica, we've been burying the lead. Given your expertise, given the reporting that you do for Wildcat Authority, March is not only known for spring, but it's known for great collegiate basketball. We got to talk March Madness.
We do.
Do you want to start with the men's or women's tourney?
Let's start with the men.
Okay, let's start with the men.
Let's get them out of the way.
So let's get them out of the way. She says that's tough. I'm not mad at that. So E, of course, we want to take this any direction that you want to give it to us, but I think we got to start with our beloved University of Arizona Wildcats. Specifically, two questions here to begin. I think you already know about this. Give us one reason why we should be cautious about the Wildcats entering the Sweet 16. They're often known as the Cardiac Cats for the heartbreak that they cause the fan base year in and year out, right? Haven't won the ship since 2001. So again, one reason to be cautious as we head into the Sweet 16 this week. And then on the other hand, one reason to believe that this is the year the Cats go all the way.
I've been saying this for 2 weeks. For those who don't know, I just watched them lose in Vegas about 9 days ago, and I'm still recovering from that nonsense because what the hell are we to lose to the Oregon Ducks?
Cardiac Cats.
They're not good. The Ducks, I mean, they're fine, but are we serious? So I just watched that nonsense a week ago. And now I just watched them win yesterday at 9:45 in the morning, which for starters, I would like to talk to the committee about scheduling because what the hell is that? But then second, I've been saying all week, though, if they can make it through this first weekend, they can do anything. They can win the Natty after winning this weekend. If they play in which the way they played against Dayton in the first half. Now, the second half was not that pretty. They did have a lot of turnovers, honestly, even still in the first half. So I guess maybe they need to lessen that a little bit, but they are a very inconsistent basketball team. I won't get into it too much, but, we've had some weaknesses at the point guard position throughout the latter part of the year here.
It's been a year for Kylan Boswell. He went from last year kind of this,
and I feel for him. I really do. And
total baby face, and now some shades of gray, maybe, but still a phenomenal talent.
He's definitely made the heel turn this year.
It's been a heel. Everything is wrestling. It's totally been a heel turn. Has it not?
I feel bad that he made the heel turn, but
he's still so good though.
I have reason to believe that Kylan Boswell will not be a Wildcat after this year. With the guard play that we have sitting on the bench, coming off the bench, it's unreasonable to think that Kylan stays and Jaden Bradley stay. So both our point guards it just can't happen. So
you could see him entering the portal.
Yes.
Wow.
Or declaring for the draft even. I think after the game he played yesterday, that's probably a little less likely because it wasn't a good game for him. But I think he could, and that's always been the plan for him. So I've heard through the grapevine is that his parents and him always wanted him to be in college for 2 years and then immediately go to the pros.
Wow. I'm trying to
think
think
what you want.
Absolutely. I'm trying to think of who his comp would be on the pro level because he's kind of a shorter but very stout guy, kind of like built like a running back.
And he's not skinny, like
he's not
like Steph in a sense where he's short and
comp
skinny.
on the pro level?
Yeah,
like a Kyle like a taller Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, and his shot is so beautiful. Like he has one of the prettiest shots I've ever seen in basketball. But he doesn't shoot unprompted. Like he's one of those basketball players that doesn't shoot when he's open. You know what I mean? And you're watching it and you're like, dude, I could make that right now. You know what I mean? Like, and you actually get paid to do this, like shoot the shot, and if it doesn't go in, we live with the results. You know what I mean? And you're that good of a shooter to where if your shot's not going in, like as a fan, we have to live with it. But like I said, this weekend was the most important weekend. I think if they don't get out of this weekend, Tommy's seat is a little hotter than maybe it really should be, because of just the pure talent on this men's basketball team. Like there's not a weakness in any position. And that's kind of how I see that, when you look at the women on the Arizona side, at least there are a few weaknesses in terms of positioning, but with the men, they have backups on backups on backups for every position they need. And the common sentiment I'm seeing within Arizona fans this week is just there's no excuse to not win. We have all the pieces we need, and we're not going to have them next year. So
and the Final Four, the location.
Yeah, and it's in Phoenix.
We love it.
I've been saying this for years, you guys. I'm trying to go to a parade. Someone has got to win something.
I'm trying to go to a parade in my city too.
The Diamondbacks screwed me. The Suns have screwed me. Both losing in the finals. What the hell is that? The Cats get sent home in the first round last year. We might as well have a boo parade for that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to go to a parade, and the state of Arizona is just not allowing it at this point. You know what I mean? So I need them to, at the bare minimum, go to the Final Four, win their Final Four game. I don't care if they win the Natty, but if they go to the Final Four and win, who am I to complain?
Final Four is a big deal.
There can only be one champion, and we're competing against UConn, you guys. UConn.
Right.
Like,
well, and so as we record this, obviously Zona, the guys have a matchup with either Clemson or Baylor waiting. So not going to be easy, but I'm glad you're optimistic. As I listen to you, I'm also looking at Brad, and we're trying to get like Brad, who's Michigan Wolverines. They did the damn thing. They got the ring. And we want to live that life too.
We do. I deserve it. I've lived here for 10 years now. I've gone through the ups and downs with Sean Miller and Tommy Lloyd. Like, I'm over it. Time to win something.
I haven't even asked Brad his thoughts on Michigan hoops with Juwan Howard. I saw he was let go and they got a new coach in.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Like it was going to happen. They haven't really done anything. They've had a lot of. It feels like they went in with like a version of Heat culture, and instead went Michigan culture, and then it just led nowhere. It was just a lot of gas. All
like
the
3
time.
years, right? 3 or 4 years he was there, and then it just
like
was good until it wasn't.
Yeah, my biggest memories are of him getting suspended. Like it's just
that was the warning sign, right?
Yeah,
from there it was just
and I was just thinking about Michigan hoops and like. Yes, we got the parade this year for football. Let's be honest. Right now, are you really holding out hope that U of A or ASU are going to have a football parade? Like,
hey no.
They might be throwing candy out for little kids. Yeah, we'll see.
We could have a parade for the U of A football team. Okay,
yes,
you can. It won't be for winning anything.
I'm choosing to be a believer.
I'm a believer too. We're gonna convince him.
I believe you. Give it 20 years and we're there. But but I still have when I think of the tournament and I think of Michigan, I still think of the timeout. It's the only thing that's in my head, man.
How can you not? Well, but we got to talk about the women's tourney, and this is such an exciting time to be a fan of basketball, and more specifically to be a fan of women's hoops, because I don't recall the college game being as hot as it is now. If it weren't for the U of A men still being in it, I would be so much more invested in the women's tourney, and I've been more invested in the women's game basically all season long. It's just phenomenal. So we want to revisit a topic that we led with back in December. Women's March Madness, South Carolina or the field?
I'm going to say this. I will never bet against South Carolina ever, but I am pulling for Colorado through and through. I honestly, I am an honorary Buffs fan for the remainder of the season. And I never thought that day would come. There are other Pac-12 teams that I could choose, but frankly, all season long, I have watched West Coast hoops be thrown in the garbage and discarded, and no one watches because their game times are late and wah. And the reality is that the best basketball in the country has been over here this entire time. I think that they have to play tough. Arizona does not make the tournament in any other conference, being in 6th place in their conference. They do not make it. Their record was 2 over 500.
It was a game or 2 over 500.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
really tumultuous.
I think it was 19 and 17. So
on-campus tryouts for roster spots.
Right.
Like it just.
I mean, they had quite the season, and so, like I said, they do not make this tournament if they're not playing the type of competition in which they've been playing every week for the last 2 months. They don't.
What was that? What was that like reporting on such a tumultuous, polarizing
exhausting
team?
Because you never have a day off. The players never have a day off. The coaching staff never has a day off. I never have a day off. We're all scouting somebody on some day, and the reality is in the Pac-12, anyone can win on any given night because everyone is good. And it's been this way. I've been following Arizona women's hoops for about 5 years now, and it hasn't always been that every team is good, but every team this year, even ASU, who's in dead last, still a pretty decent team. And probably if you put them up against North Carolina, UNC, I mean, they probably hold their own. They may not win the game, but like against a team that's very good in their conference, the bottom barrel of the Pac-12 probably still keeps up. And it's a shame that the Pac-12 is going to be no longer. I'm pretty sad about it, actually.
It's the end of an era.
Yeah, it really is. And the traveling is going to not be fun for anybody. But in March, like I said, you can't pull against Dawn Staley in South Carolina. You can't.
Total babyface, right?
Well, except they did kind of have a heel turn there for just a minute. They kind of did have a heel turn.
When was this?
Well, when they won,
The
so they
LSU beef?
won the SEC tournament. Let me think.
Of course.
So LSU
Right.
played the South Carolina Gamecocks in the SEC tournament championship.
Right. We're talking about the brawl.
And
I remember this.
turned into a little bit of a scuffle on the court.
Sure
It
did.
did.
And
Camila
they're
Cardoso.
big. Yeah, Camila.
6'7".
She is so
Future in
big.
WWE. Yeah.
And y'all know, listen, I'm an LSU hater, but Flau'jae Johnson, Big Four, that's my girl. When Camilla came on the court to push, I about flew to the southeast myself. You know what I mean? I was,
and you like Haley Van Lith. You're a big Haley fan.
I am a big Haley girl. I do love
twisted.
her. I just couldn't watch that. I'm like, Camilla, what?
That wasn't a good look.
You are
at all.
almost 14 inches taller than this girl.
Mm-hmm.
Don't push her. I do get, though, if you watch, I went back and I watched the game from the beginning. The refs were letting them push and shove and pull hair and screaming each other's ears. I mean, the refs were doing all but letting them assault one another, So this will be the only time you, on the record, ever catch me saying that I almost agree with Kim Mulkey in a sense that she is right about the officiating leading to that fight. In my opinion, if the officials in the first quarter, first quarter, maybe not, but second quarter, you guys are like, this is getting pretty chippy. Maybe we should start to kind of intervene a little, They didn't do that, though. There were no warnings issued. I mean, Angel Reese is elbowing, Camilla's elbowing, there's hair pulling. Someone's got to say something, or obviously a fight is going to ensue.
I think the headline from this episode has been sealed, Brad.
Please.
Erika Day defends Kim Mulkey. That's how we're leading this.
People will really come for me for that one.
Yes, they will.
Already timestamped it.
Yes, yes.
I was looking at the women's bracket because I hadn't actually looked at all the teams in it. I haven't seen. I saw parts of 2 games this week. That's all I've seen of anything, and it was men's basketball. And I saw the bulk of the Colorado-Florida game, which was amazing. And then I saw another game, and I don't even remember who was playing, but it was a blowout. And I was looking at the women's bracket here. Shout out to UWGB for being the 11 seed. The Green Bay, the Phoenix, I think they are. They are in my brother's town. My parents live in Green Bay. I've been to that school a whole bunch. They've always had a really good women's ball team there in the Horizon League.
I picked them to beat UT, and they failed me, but I did
by almost 30 points. They did, but yeah, I did. Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, if I'm drawn to play a team like UT that is a historic women's basketball team, and then they're only a 6 seed, I think is what they are. Yep. So I'm thinking to myself, this is a winnable basketball game. And there's no more dangerous of a basketball team than a team that shouldn't win but thinks they can. Oh, no. And I'm like, Green Bay is going to come out shooting icy hot. They're never going to miss. Like, they really disappointed me.
I think a lot of our brackets have been.
I really was rooting for them,
So final question, I guess, for us, E, here with the women's tournament. We can ask you so much, right? But the star power really sticks out to me in terms of this year's tourney. JuJu Watkins. I know we talk a lot about Caitlin Clark, as we should and as we shall in a moment. But JuJu Watkins leading that USC squad. Caitlin Clark, obviously being the biggest player in all of college basketball, irregardless of gender. Thoughts on JuJu and USC, and really JuJu's ascension? Because I think next year, after Caitlin goes to the WNBA, we're really going to go just full on JuJu and her getting the spotlight she so rightfully deserves. But then also, I think you've come around on one Caitlin Shuttlesworth Clark. So where are you at with JuJu? And also, we got to ask how you're feeling about Caitlin Clark, and just the world is really hers right now.
Yeah, and I've seen JuJu beat my team now 3 times this year. Okay, so I have a lot of respect for JuJu. I also have watched her team come a long way, losing really winnable games earlier in their non-conference schedule. And now they went on to win the Pac-12 tournament, which they were picked 6th to win, or they were picked 6th in the tournament. So they were not expected to win. They played every game. They didn't have a day off, is what I'm trying to say. A lot of teams that win conference tournaments, they don't have to play that first game. USC did. And I'm not going to ever, their team has bought in at the right time. And I think that's so huge for a tournament run. I don't think that USC is a 1 seed, but I do think that USC is a really, really, really good team that is heating up at the exact right moment. The one thing I go back to is my Colorado pick. I've had them picked since the beginning of the season. Since before they beat LSU, I had them picked. They've been together a really long time, and they're all bought in on the system in which they play in. And when you have a core group of players that all believe in the principles that the coach is teaching, it's almost impossible to knock them off of that horse. I think Colorado lost some games that led them to kind of being swivelly, if you will, a little bit. But like JuJu and USC, they've won some really tough battles that have battle tested them and brought them closer together. It made them believe in their coach more, and you can see it when they play. You can see that they all love basketball and they love each other. And I think when you have those 2 things, you can beat any school.
That's a powerful combo on any level. The freshman boys team at Marana High School, women's, D1,
WNBA. It doesn't matter if
everywhere.
You buy in. You're almost unbeatable. Huge. It doesn't matter what type of talent you have on a team, because at the end of the day, USC is not the most talented team in the Pac-12. they are not, like in terms of personnel, but they all do the right thing at the right time. And I always talk about the right basketball decision, you know, and what is the right thing for the team at the time. And their team, JuJu included, is all willing to sacrifice their own individual stats. No one is trying to play out a WNBA tryout while simultaneously trying to win a basketball game, because those two things can't simultaneously happen. And I think that team has bought into knowing that they can't do both things simultaneously. They have to buy into winning if that's what they want. And I think they've decided that that's what they want. And so like, I don't think as a 1 seed, they are Final Four bound. They have to go through my little Colorado team in which to win, but they have already beat Colorado before. So
they have to go through Kansas, and I'm fine with that. Go blue. Little vengeance.
I hate Kansas. I've also seen Kansas beat my girls at home. So UNC, Kansas, same list for me, you know. Not a list you want to be on either.
Not a list you want to be on. Speaking of winning, E, final question here. Caitlin Clark, she's winning often on the court, off the court. What are your thoughts now? Again, we spoke in December. Caitlin Clark was obviously on the map, but now it just seems like it's reached a fever pitch in terms of commercials, in terms of how excited people are for her to get on into the pros next year, presumably with Indiana. Thoughts on the Caitlin Clark experience as it stands right now?
I love that you called it the Caitlin Clark experience, because that's exactly what it's been. It's been an
vibe.
Experience.
Yeah, right.
And like, I'll tell my kids in the future, I will tell them about watching Caitlin in college and where I was when she broke the scoring record. You know, it's cool stuff. I have to say I'm ready for her to be in the W, because I grew so into the W product last year. I mean, even you probably watched me, like at the beginning, I'm like, you know, I hope the Aces win, but who cares, you know, whatever. But like by the end, I'm like, oh my God, these are awesome. Like, and so I'm ready for her to go. I'm ready for her to bring the eyes that she's brought to college to the W. I think the W is a really good product that is just waiting for the right marketing opportunity. And Caitlin can't be more perfect for that opportunity. And I think when we talked in December, we talked a little bit about the draft and how I honestly thought that Caitlin, I may have said this, but if not, I'm going to reiterate. Indiana could not be a more perfect landing spot for Caitlin freaking Clark, okay? It is the basketball mecca of the freaking world, first and foremost. Second of all, we'll say that she fits the demographic very well in Indiana, okay? And so, to me, I'm thinking...
artfully said.
Yeah. Really, as the draft,
it makes sense. It makes sense.
I really thought about it. Okay,
it's perfect.
You know, as the draft order comes out, I'm thinking to myself, I mean, it doesn't make sense for her to go to Atlanta. No one's gonna like her in Atlanta. Let's be honest here for a second. It's way too
Clark in Atlanta would be interesting. In Hotlanta,
like it's way too close to South Carolina. All the Gamecock fans go to Atlanta. It's just I don't think
you got Trae Young with the Hawks. You got with the.
So I think she needed to stay kind of in the north. Connecticut's too good, so they weren't going to have a high enough draft pick for her. Phoenix, they got Diana Taurasi. Why would they need Caitlin Clark? Really? And then, LA, so those are the top, you know, destinations she probably could have gone to other than Indy had she stayed in college for another year. And so as soon as the draft order was announced, I was so heavily on the side of Caitlin must go pro this year, because Indiana is such a perfect and ideal. And they've got Aaliyah Boston already. So the pick and roll setup is going to be unstoppable.
It's set.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. I've got my all-star tickets. Do you?
No, I meant to ask.
I
meant to ask if you and Matt were going for sure.
Yeah, it's done. It's a done deal. We've got
I need to get on that.
Little skills contest, which like who really cares about the skills contest? But honestly, I'll still be there. I'm going to be partying it up with the girls.
We're going to work on this. It's going
to be good stuff.
Man, well, speaking of good stuff, speaking of anticipation, I'm so excited. It's Batch Week. The finale is, if you're listening to this as we drop on Monday, it's tonight. Erika, obviously you are a fellow fan. Maybe we can get Brad to tune in. Maybe we're just too far gone and it's too late. But regardless, we got to make... We got to make some predictions. It's time for a rose from me. Let's hit the music.
And now, for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
All right, Batch, it's the finale. Joey's season is coming to a conclusion. If we rewind quickly, last week we saw the Women Tell All. My main takeaway here is that Maria, once positioned as a pseudo heel or at least shades of gray, got a total babyface edit in the Women Tell All. I'm convinced she's going to be the next lead. Erika, it's the finale. Rachel's been eliminated, so Joey has 2 women left. He has Kelsey A. He has Daisy. Who's getting that final rose?
My pick is Daisy. It seems obviously to be Daisy. When you watch the interesting thing is I don't know which order the hometowns was actually filmed in. And I think that that's really important information to know because it really does affect the leads' outlook on their dates. Like, think if Daisy's hometown was before anyone else's. Like, he probably already decided that Daisy was the one before he even went on those hometowns. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's true.
And so it's a really important piece of information. But I was overall pretty shocked that Miss Kelsey went home. Is that right? Rachel went home?
Rachel went home. Yeah. Kelsey A.
I'm pretty shocked. I have to
went
say.
home.
Rachel's family to me seemed so genuine, and I just was so crushed when he sent Rachel home. I literally needed to be sedated for a second.
I think they were too much for Joey. I think it was giving friend. It was giving friendship.
But then he ate the pig's ear, and I was like, "Oh, this is great! Oh my god, this is awesome! He loves them."
It was the whole thing, B. I need to send you some clips.
Yeah, you've got to see him eat the pig's ear because honestly, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I was trying to get some context here and trying to look up how these people were, and I got nailed with a loud ass ad. So if that played through the audio, I was like, "What is happening?"
No,
right
it did
now?
not. But I saw your reaction.
Okay,
I was probably gonna text.
Yeah,
you.
I was like, because last time I had something played through and it played through on StreamYard, and I was like, "Oh man, if that just played through, I don't even know what it was for," but I closed it quick.
To Erika's point, Brad, this was just the hometowns. So for Daisy and Kelsey A, Louisiana, Minnesota, respectively, it just kind of mirrored the traditional hometown. I think for Rachel, it was very much like, let's go to a family backyard get together.
Well, it's so weird to me. You guys have an unlimited budget. You're literally in Tulum, Mexico right now. Why can't we go to Hawaii? I'm confused.
For sure. I think they kind of did Rachel dirty. I just feel
they
like
did, and I don't really appreciate it.
It was giving friendship. Yeah. I don't know if Joey had a good time. But you're thinking Daisy, not Kelsey A.
I am a Daisy. I think Daisy is the one for him. I think he's known that Daisy was the one for him. Also, Daisy was the first one-on-one, which I'm of the belief means more than anything else in the show. Like, a lot of people talk about the first impression rose being like the most important thing. It's not. It's that very first one-on-one. It's the first person that they really get to know. And the lead knows that the casting directors want people that they will like. So this first person that they are meeting, they know, okay, probably most people are going to be kind of like this. You know what I mean? So then it's just up to them to establish the emotional connection. And how difficult is it to establish an emotional connection with 5 people after you've already met this one person who you think is so awesome? Yeah. And to me, Daisy has been biting herself in the foot by kind of being closed off, being a little hesitant of
she's had her guard up.
Yeah. But now I think she's kind of all in on him. And I think she's realized that if she wants to be with Joey, she has to shit or get off the pot. And so I think she's choosing the first option.
We shall see. I can't wait. Any other notes, E, on this season about Joey, about Maria as the potential?
One last thing, actually, it's the most important thing. Why they had Leslie come back on this show after
from Golden Bachelor? They're everywhere. The women of that season are everywhere.
Listen,
stars.
And I'll be honest, and now Leslie was my least favorite of the final 4 of the. I'm sorry to say. But she struck me as cuckoo, okay? There's a reason she was never married, okay? I'm sorry. I'll be the first to admit.
Women be like that sometimes. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, E.
Crazy. And so...
Kidding, of course.
I didn't like Leslie. And so when I see her come out of the woodworking to come talk to our girl, Kelsey A, I'm thinking to myself, y'all are about to put my girl through the ringer. And that is exactly what they're doing.
That's exactly what, yeah. You're on to
I
something.
knew immediately. I said,
You're
they're
right.
going to set Leslie up to say some crazy nonsense. And that's exactly what she did. And now Kelsey A is sitting there. Oh my God, I'm not the one. Even though I think he does like them both the same amount. Like, I don't think there's any difference in how much he loves them. I think it's just a difference. The final two to me has always come down to whose life do I fit into better? And I personally think it's Daisy.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's accurate criteria though, especially when it's so close. It doesn't to me, like you, it doesn't seem like there's a clear favorite here. It really seems like a great matchup. And just to keep it spicy, I'm gonna choose Kelsey A. So we will see who is right, but I hope everyone tunes in for it.
Gimmick infringement won't be wrong at this rate. So
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I'll abstain, actually.
Brad, this has been so fun. What did we miss from the week?
I don't know, dude. You heard my week. I don't know what we missed.
Bro.
I missed life. I had too much life. I got life on my face right now. I don't know what's happening. So I'm gonna say there was something there. We missed something.
That's
all I got. So I have nothing specific.
E, anything we missed from the week in hoops and wrestling and pop culture?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. John Calipari's getting fired, so that's all I care about in terms of men hoops.
Motor City Machine Guns contract is up with TNA. They are finishing up. Could be landing somewhere else. Could be AEW. I'd even love to see them show up for that tournament in WWE. We'll see what happens with them, but that's going to be a big get for whoever gets them. Yeah. That's the thing I think we missed. We probably missed something else, but I can't think of anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure. Erika, you're giving
things on the road to WrestleMania that you guys just need to mention, because
oh my gosh.
I actually was thinking about the Street Profits today and how if they don't win their little tournament to go, was that match on
SmackDown? They're going to be in the match. They have to be.
They better.
They
make the most sense, right?
They have.
But they got to turn Montez down like 2 levels because he's like a cartoon right now, and they're ruining him.
Montez is the one that's not married to Bianca, right?
No, he is married. He is married to Bianca.
He is the one that's married to Bianca. Okay, okay. I had it backwards. Okay.
They got him cranked way too high on the cartoon-o-meter right now. Mm-hmm. They need to back him off a little bit, have him be a little bit more subdued. And I think because that dude was being rocketed to the top of the card. And then it's just sort of like they slammed on the brakes with him. I thought it would have been like, all right, he's paired up with Bobby. We're off to the races. And then it just sort of flattened out as he got like bigger and bigger as a character, but not bigger in a good way. Just bigger. There's a threshold with that stuff where it's like, all right, you've gone Ultimate Warrior here. And we need you to slow it down a little bit.
Well, he's got all these other shows with Bianca too. So like, it kind of like ruins it when they have all these other shows where he's I would imagine not acting to the extent in which he acts on the WWE. And then he's actually on the WWE. And then they're promoting the show where he's not acting crazy, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
How invested are you in the other Mania storylines? So we're thinking Io versus Bailey, obviously the main event.
Io and Bailey, that sounds like a good match. I have not paid enough attention. That sounds like a really good feud, though.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
I'm glad. I will say, I will give this to the WWE. I was really scared when Mercedes left that they were going to bury Bailey. And I was really nervous about that because Bailey's not a bad wrestler. And also, of most of the women in the WWE, Bailey is good on the mic comparatively to most. And so I think it would be a huge shame for them to lose out on a good storyteller like Bailey, who at the end of the day genuinely loves the business, and I think that's something that like we've kind of gotten away from as like Triple H has tried to recruit like collegiate athletes and stuff. You're getting more and more of the people that literally don't know who John Cena is. And you're like, all right, well, I'm not sure how you're supposed to sell this considering like you don't know the product at all. And so I think that's like where it gets really interesting with Bailey is she loves the product so much and it's written all over her face every time she walks out.
Yeah.
Well
100%.
There's no doubt. Well, E, this has been so fun. Thank you for making your return. What are the best ways to follow you and show love?
On X, I am Erika Lee Day with a K. And then on Wildcat Authority, you can find me there. And that's about it.
Beautiful. Support Erika. And support us, too, by visiting our website, gimmickinfringementpod.com. You can find our articles on wrestling, pop culture, and more over there. In fact, we have a new piece up that I wrote about Big Sean. It's titled Big Sean is the Jamal Murray of hip-hop. Check it out. It would mean a lot to me and ostensibly to us.
It's great.
Thank you. Thank you, my partner. You can follow us on X and IG at GIPod19. Of course, we're on Facebook. Just search Gimmick Infringement. Thank you all so much for being here. Erika Day, the woman, the myth, the legend, thank you so much for making your return. And we hope you'll join us again for the next edition of GI. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.